Hey guys, Barry Carter here. I wanted to share a quick lesson that I found very useful when we were working on GTO Poker Simplified, and we can demonstrate it in GTO Wizard. And it's a pre-flop example. Our book is a mostly post-flop book, but pre-flop is also covered. So a mistake I was making that a lot of people make is people set mine too much at shallow stack depths. Even when they're the big blind. I think most people realise that you need a wide defending range when you're the big blind, and they naturally assume that that makes a small pair a perfectly good hand to defend with. That isn't always the case. So let's have a look at an example. This is a chip EV spot. This is 30 big blinds effective. And this is a button opening range. Now, as you can see, this is a very, very wide range. It's pretty much more than 50% of hands. No, it's just under 50% of hands, and it includes all the high suited stuff, all the Broadway stuff, and it only really doesn't include the worst suited stuff and the absolute trash here at the bottom. So, very wide range as you'd expect, and this is the big blind response to that. As you can see, the big blind continues with almost 85% of their hands, as they should. You should defend very, very wide here. We call with all manner of hands, like Queen 2 suited, 9-3 suited, 9-6 off. We raise with all our big hands, like aces and ace-king. But what do we do with the pairs? We actually shove for 30 big blinds with most of our pairs from pocket jacks downwards, pocket nines, pocket tens, pocket eights, hands that most people would think are very, very strong hands that would be worth taking to the flop. We actually just rip it in with 30 big blinds. This, to some people, will seem like a bit of a waste of a very good hand, and to other people it will seem pretty reckless to just open shove with 30 big blinds effective. So why do we do this? Well, to demonstrate why we do this, let's just look at what happens when we do this. As you can see, this is the button opener response, and they actually fold 72% of their hands, making this a pretty much instantaneously profitable spot. Also, if you've got a hand like pocket twos or pocket threes, you're very happy to pretty much get rid of all these hands. You don't want to let Queen 5 suited in to outflop you quite cheaply. You don't want to let Jack 8 off in or 7-5 suited. There's no really, really good hand that there's no really, really good flop, that you want to see with your small pocket pair, except for the one that makes you a set. We're very happy to just get rid of these hands, to deny equity to them. And we get 72% of the hands to fold. And only around 8% of the time, I think we worked it out as, you will be up against a bigger pocket pair with a hand like, say, threes or fours or fives when you do get called. So when you do get called by this very tight linear range, you're going to be flipping half the time anyway. So, you can do some guerrilla maths on this, but 72% of the time we get a fold, and maybe another 10% of the time we win the flip. So when you open shove with a hand like pocket twos or threes in this spot, it's an instantly profitable situation for you. Now let's look at a slightly different example before you start ripping it in with every single pocket pair. Let's do the same thing, but instead let's look at an under the gun opening range instead of a button opening range. So this is a tighter range. It's a linear range once again, but there's not much junk in this range. We've got pocket fours upwards. We've got all the good suited aces. We've only got the best offsuit aces. We've got the good Broadway hands. King 6 suited, King 7 suited, 10-8 suited, 9-8 suited. These are our weakest hands here. So this is a very, very solid linear opening range. Let's see what the big blind does against this when it is folded to them. As you can see, we're continuing with not quite as many hands this time around, but pretty much the majority of our hands. We're defending 8-3 suited, 5-3 suited, Jack 7 off. We're defending a lot of weak hands because we're getting such a good price. But look what's happening to the small pocket pairs. There's no shoves in there, like pocket 10 shoves but it's such a small percentage of the time, I think, practically speaking, you can raise this hand. Why is it that we open shove against the button with all our pocket pairs, but we never do that in the same situation, but against an under the gun opening raiser? First of all, against the under the gun opening raiser, let's have a look at that range again. They've got such a strong range, the implied odds for our pocket pairs go up. They've got all the good aces, all the good Broadway hands, for example. If they hit on a flop where we make a set, they're probably going to continue for 1, 2, or 3 streets. Whereas in the same situation, this is the button response range. Look at all this junk. They're going to miss most of the time when we go to a flop with our small pocket pair. So against this range, we are going to get action when we make a set. And against this range, most of the time, if we do make a set, we're probably going to get 1 bet out of our opponent at best. So to summarize, against a button opening range at shallow stack depths, it's instantly profitable to open shove with small pocket pairs because you're going to get a fold a great deal of the time and you're going to be flipping some of the time. But if you take it to the flop, you're probably going to have to check fold a lot of the time. Conversely, against a tight opening range, it's more profitable to set mine because you're going to get some action if you do hit your set. But you're against such a tight opening range that it's going to be way less profitable. I mean, this is how the under the gun opener should respond. They still do fold a lot of their hands, but the high pocket pairs and the big aces make up a much bigger overall proportion of the range. So you're going to be up against much stronger hands overall when you do shove with them. So I found that useful. It's a mistake a lot of amateurs make. It was certainly one that I was making. Let us know if you found that useful. If you like this video, please subscribe. We're not necessarily going to be continuing with YouTube unless some people show interest in it. Sorry to hold you to ransom like that. And if this has been helpful as well, do get GTO Poker Simplified because we covered pre-flop and post-flop. Not equal measure, but as much as we needed to in both cases. Thank you.